Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
All right, how's everybody doing today? Monday. Starting a week. We're on our way to, I almost said Boonville. All day long I've been looking for loads, and I got cities in Missouri on my brain. On our way to Fenton, Missouri with the wheel loader. I left the house this morning and I stopped by the shop. I had the strobe lights on the back of my trailer weren't working, and Missouri is kind of a stickler for having a 360-degree coverage of strobe lights, so I wanted to make sure they were working before I got into Missouri. So I swung by the shop, and I'm kind of real glad I did. They fixed that, and while they were fixing that, we found a tire that it was starting to go low on me. It actually had a plug in it from way back in the day that I completely forgot about. We fixed on the road, and it was leaking around that plug, so we ended up just replacing that tire too while we were at it. So I'm real glad I stopped at the shop. But while they were working on the strobe lights, I'm gonna put the scale ticket up here. And this is the scale ticket I got on Friday after I loaded this thing. I ran it. You saw the video on that. I think it's episode 61. My last video. You saw me loading this thing at the port. On my way home, I stopped and scaled this thing, and that's the scale ticket you're seeing right now. And as you can see, my drive tires are at, because I drove this thing on the trailer so it was facing backwards, all the weight of this machine, or most of the weight of this machine, is in the motor and the counterweights and everything on the back of this. So a lot of the weight is toward the front of the trailer, and it made my drive tires pretty heavy. I might have been better off with this particular machine to have turned it around and backed it on. I might have been able to balance this weight a little bit better. But as you can see on the scale ticket, I'm a little bit over 49,000 pounds on the drive tires, which is a problem in some states. Ohio will give me 50,000. Pennsylvania gave me 50,000. I think we were sitting at 49 and some change in Maryland. So It wasn't an issue until I got to, it wouldn't have been an issue until I got to Indiana and Illinois. They will only give me 48,000 pounds, 24,000 per axle on the drive tires. So I had to, as you can see by the scale ticket, I'm about 1,400 pounds heavy on my drive tires for what Indiana and Illinois will give me. So I needed to shift some of that weight. I had plenty of room on the trailer. That gave me 20,000. I think we permitted 19,000 per axle on my trailer. So that's 57,000 pounds I can put on the trailer axles. And as you saw by the scale ticket, I'm very much below that. So I had room to shift this thing back and put the weight onto the trailer and take it off my drive tires. So the best way to accomplish that for me, this morning while they were working on a trailer, I just unchained it, fired it up. Oh, we did figure out what the problem was. I think I mentioned in that video where it didn't want to start back up. Apparently it has some sensor that thinks it was on an incline and it wouldn't let it start, and we had to just hit the button and override that. And that allowed it to start back up. But we have one of our mechanics in the shop. He's a Cat mechanic, so I knew he would know what to do. And you saw him in the video in his reflective jacket out there helping me out, and he's the one that I really appreciate his knowledge and what he got me this morning. Like he got that thing starting up no problem. So what we did was unsecured it. After we got it fired up, we unsecured it, and then I just drove it backwards, and you saw that in the video. I just drove it backwards about 1.5 feet. And it's really hard to judge how much weight you're going to transfer by, you know, there's some calculation that every inch it gives you so much per pound, or per inch you get so many pounds per inch, and that didn't necessarily hold true with this situation. I moved that thing somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 14 inches further back, which I thought would have shifted. I really thought that would have shifted a lot of weight toward the back, and taken a lot more off my drive tires than what it did. But after I got it moved, I moved it to the best place we could, the only place we could, as far back as I could take it. Secured it back down, took it down the road and got another scale ticket on it, and that's the scale ticket you're going to see right now. So you'll see that by moving that 12 to 14 inches, that shifted 2,200 pounds from my drive tires back to my trailer tires, and made me legal for not only for Ohio, but also Indiana, Illinois, Missouri. Like the rest of the trip, I'm good. So it did its job, did what I wanted it to do and what I hoped it would do. I just thought moving that far would have given me a little bit more weight transfer than what it did. So I was kind of surprised that it was as little as it did. However, it worked. So there you go. You saw it. It's something that I wanted to talk about. This is something you run into heavy haul. The heavy haul side is Specialized. You run into the axle weights are just super important, and they can be a bit of a challenge. My specific setup, because my fifth wheel is set so far back, that puts a lot of weight on my drive tires, and we've talked about that in other videos. It puts a lot of weight on that drive tire. So everything I haul, I just kind of push it as far back as I possibly can. And I said it in that video yesterday when I loaded this thing that I probably could have moved this back a little bit, and I kind of wish I would have, because we wouldn't have been doing what we did this morning. So I'm kind of glad we did in a way, because that gave Eric a chance to get in there and figure out why that thing wasn't starting, and I'm glad he did. So this is something that you run into quite a bit when you're running heavy. The axle weights and it's tough. It's a tough thing to, your gauge in your truck means a lot. A lot of times you're loading at places like I did Friday. I loaded at the port in Baltimore. There's no scale there. There's nowhere for me to go weigh it and see where I'm at. I got to wait until I'm off the property and at a truck stop before I can scale it. So fortunately, with this type of unit, I can just get in, fire it up, move it if I need to. But if you're over gross and you don't know it, then there's nothing you can do. So it's kind of a delicate scenario that you need to sort of weave your way through when you're doing heavy haul like this. This one here, because I'm pushing the limits of what 76 or what 6 axles can do, it got me into this situation where I needed to shift this weight. So worked out in the end. I'm very thankful for Eric coming out and help me. Give a shout out to Eric for getting this thing started and helping me move it, and also to Steve and Eric both for working on the lights on the back of my trailer, getting those working too. That was a little tricky. They kind of had to pull a bunch of lights out and find where the wiring issue was, and but they got it, and they're working great now. So I appreciate it. I appreciate their time. I appreciate the fact that my shop is always really good to me. Like I called this morning, Nick didn't even know I was coming. The shop manager didn't even know I was coming. I called him an hour before I got there and said, hey, I'm going to be there, and he got people right on it. So very fortunate like that, and I just wanted to say I appreciate it, and hopefully those guys are watching and they're going to see the appreciation for a job well done. So there you go. There's a little lesson in axle weights. Something you can do if you get in that situation where you're under gross but you're over on an axle and you need to move the thing. This is a situation where I was able to move it and get the weight shifted. So it's pretty common with heavy haul that you got to move the weight around. You get pretty good at guessing. I mean, I did pretty well at guessing, and I wish I wouldn't have second guessed myself. And I said on that video I maybe could have put that back a little bit, and I should have listened to myself right then and just moved it, but I didn't, and we got it moved now, so no big deal, no harm, no foul. Everything's good, and we'll be at delivery tomorrow morning. I don't know, this is delivering to a cat dealer. Cat dealers are pretty funny about filming on their site, so there's a pretty high likelihood that they won't allow me to film while we're there. So hopefully I'll get some film and delivery on this, but probably not, given that it's going to a cat dealer. So if not, I hope everybody has a good day. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that subscribe and like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope everybody has a great day.
The correct time is it Eastern?
Yeah, somebody's looking at what time it is. Must be right there at the line.
Music licensing reimagined.
We're still in Eastern time.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.